Hi and welcome back. Today I'm doing a video that a lot of you guys have asked me about, and it's the review on the Falcon M18. So in front of me here on a Remington build gun I have the Falcon Optics M18, and it's this year's version, or maybe even the upgraded version if you want to see it that way, of the older 4-14 scope. And the big differences are, well, what I'm going to go through the improvements first. A lot of the problems with the older ones were the turrets. A lot of people didn't like the mushy turrets. In these ones, they've changed it from a 6mm per turn to a 10mm per turn system, which just by the density of clicks in the turret takes away a lot of the mush. There's very little slack, if any, between mills, where before you'd go into a mill and you'd be fiddling around to get it sitting exactly on a mill. That's all gone with this because the density is much higher. There's no room for slack in between the mill spacing, so that's fixed. Now, one of the problems I had was when you took off the turrets, you seen the spindle that the three locks for setting your zero would connect to. Now, this spindle inside was all gnarled up from the three locking keys holding the turret when you're resetting zero, and it just kept getting mushed up. It was very hard to get it to connect and tighten onto an exact zero. So they've done away with the squeeze method of locking on the turret and gone to a single nut up the top. It's a little Allen nut, and it just comes off, the turret lifts up, and it's as simple as that. You put it back down. The way it works is it sits in splines, so it'll only sit correctly on a mill marker. It's not going to be sitting in between or anything like that. So that's very nice. That's out of the way. So much nicer clicks, much nicer turret system, and a much faster turret system, being 10mm per turn. I think they have a total elevation of 24 mils. That'll be tested in a different video. Today in this video, what I'm going to be doing is the optical clarity and the resolution of the glass. Now, first thing I'm going to do is optical clarity. That's what everyone is thinking straight away, is what's it look like at distance. So what I did was I did side by side with a Leupold Mark IV, which you can see here, which is a 4.5 to 14 scope, and it's a USMC mill crosshair, and it's MOA turret, so it's the old type of setup where it's not matched, unlike these, which are nice and matched to the B20 reticle is mill, so is the turret. So you know when you're dialing a mill, you're going to hold a mill. It's as simple as that. So for the quick test, the first thing we did was there was a rabbit hole at 100 meters. I got the two scopes and I set them up on the rig, and I took pictures from behind both at different magnifications. It was the lowest, the middle, and the high mag, which is different on the two of them, but it just gives you a range of zoom. So you can see that the Leupold is slightly better color, but it's only 100 meters. The two of them held up pretty well. The Falcon is a little bit fuzzy around the edges, but I did notice that with the older Falcons as well. That might have to do with the eye relief, which is something I'll talk about in a minute. Then we went to 900 meters, and there's a stack of rocks which is roughly about 4 feet high, and you can see that the Falcon shows it quite nicely. I mean, you can work out exactly what it is, and at 900 meters you'd easily pull off a shot. But then to test it out to see really what it's like at distance, I stretched it out to 1.3 miles, and there's these three little sheds that you can see. And I don't actually know how tall they are, so I can't work it out by mil, but on the map they're 1.8 miles. And the Falcon does show its glass quality, as it's a little bit milky around the edges, and it shows a little bit more aberration around the corners of things, where you get a little bit of rainbowing. And the Leupold, the colours are better again. There's a little bit less milk and a little bit less of the chromatic aberration around the edges of the targets. Again, not either way, they were pretty damn good. There was no big difference in them. And a lot of it came down to the camera. When you're looking through your eye, it's a little bit better again than what the camera picked up. So I think that one goes to the Leopold just for clarity, which there wasn't a lot in it, but the Leopold gets that one for sure. And the clarity of this guy is better than the older Falcons, the 4 to 14 by 44, and the bigger objective lens versions. But what we did after that was something I hadn't done in a while. I used to do it on cameras, but I had a sheet like this, and on it, I'm not sure if you'll be able to make it out, there is lines converging at a point. Now, the lines come in, and basically I put the targets at 20 meters, and using 10 times zoom on the two scopes, getting a perfect parallax and a perfect focus. I had a copy of this beside me, and I marked down where I could see the lines until they just blurred into one or joined into one. And I marked it. So basically, I marked a 1 for the Falcon, and I marked a 0 for the Leopold. And in pretty much every single resolution line, the Falcon had a higher resolution. Not a whole lot, but it was higher. And that's something we have noticed is shooting close range stuff. It's really easy to make out small details. Much easier than we found with the bigger scope or even the older scopes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick it up, and you can kind of see, it's not the most labeled thing in the world, but you're able to see the zeros are how far in I could see on the Leopold, and the 1s are how far in the line I could see on the Falcon. Now they're on the same zoom, and they're as perfectly set up as I could for my eye. This is something I could not record on camera, because then you'd be putting in the camera's glass into the equation and other stuff, and it just wouldn't work. So it has to be done by eye. But I did find that the Falcon definitely won out over the Leopold on resolution, and a lot of other scopes, especially ones under the same price tag, they don't touch it on resolution. If you're shooting bench rest or something inside 100 meters, a lot of 100 meters stuff, it's very, very hard to beat that. And that's why this generally stays on my 1022 for closer range stuff. Now, I have tried it on my Win Mag. It does take the recoil, and it does everything that the Leopold does for me. And we'll do another video on that. But what might set this apart now between a 400 euro scope or a $400 or whatever currency, I'm just giving a ballpark, the Leopold and the Falcon, the internals, how they dial, do they hold straight, are they calibrated correctly? If you dial 10 clicks, are you getting your 10 centimeters at 100 meters? We'll have to see. So that is the next video that we're going to run on this Falcon here, is the calibration of the internals, just to see, are we dialing straight through and flat, and actually are we actually dialing what we think we're dialing, and are we getting our full range of movement, left, right, up and down, that's set on the paper. If you have any questions about this scope, please ask them below. I'll answer it back as fast as I can. So for today, I think it's 1-1. The Leopold is slightly better quality glass, but the Falcon has a much higher resolution glass. And it all comes down to what you're going to use it for. But till next time, remember to share, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, just put them down below, and I'll see you guys next time.